Welcome to the Saveur Test Kitchen. Today on Dueling Dishes, the ultimate comfort food, mac and cheese. Pitting home cook turned professional chef Ratha Chaupoly versus New York City restaurant veteran Katy Sparks.
I'm Katy Sparks, and I work for Union Market as their culinary director. And starting next fall, I'm also going to be the executive chef of the Tavern on the Green.
Hey, my name is Ratha Chaupoly. I'm the chef owner of Lumpang Sandwich Shops.
My philosophy when it comes to cooking is very simple. Source the best ingredients you can get.
My philosophy is being able to serve salty, sweet, spicy as a whole.
The inspiration for the mac and cheese was being frustrated that I had so many great little cheese ends in my cheese drawer. So I wanted to create a vehicle for all these different pieces of great cheese.
So I'm making portobello crusted mac and cheese with Munster and sharp cheddar. I'm gonna have 2 layers of crust on my mac and cheese.
Hi chefs.
Hi.
Gabriela.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, I'm so excited for this. Everyone loves mac and cheese. Yeah. I'm seeing lots of vegetables here, Ratha. Why are there so many vegetables in your mac and cheese?
Well, you know, mac and cheese is so rich, and I love cutting it with something a little more tart and a little spicy to it and a little sweet to it. So I like having a side salad when I'm having mac and cheese.
So what kind of cheeses do you have here?
We have an aged Vermont cheese from Grafton, Vermont. And this is a Fontina Valdau stuff from the Italian Alps. And also this is a cave-aged Gruyere, which is French. These all melt really well. They have lots of nuance from terroir, so whatever the animals are eating and the water and the air and all that stuff is in the cheese. And then for tanginess and balance, we have this great Coach Farms fresh, grassy, milky flavors. And then this is a sheep's milk Feta, also French. And then on top, the crust is going to be pumpkin seeds, raw pumpkin seeds, which are very nutritious. I like to cook food that is very satisfying, but also has this little bit of health-promoting aspect to it.
Maybe both of you can tell us a little bit about timing.
So one of the major things is to have your prep ready. Right now is just milk warming up a little bit with butter. So when I do add the cheese, it's going to go into it and then melt nice and slow.
I'm adding the flour to the butter. And it's really important to cook it up without browning it, because that'll sort of impede the nice, cheesy, creamy color. And we eat with our eyes, as everyone knows. So, but right here is an onion, which is studded with a bay leaf and some cloves, and just to give a little bit of extra dimensions.
You have a lot of cheese here, man.
I do.
What's going on?
We have the 2 different types of cheeses here. This is Shams, which is from south of France, and then this is a Extra Sharp Chedda.
Tell us how you're going to incorporate cauliflower into this dish.
Imagine that it's really like pasta. It's a vehicle for the sauce.
Now I noticed that you're turning your back on your sauce.
Yeah, I have it on very low fire.
But Katy can't turn her back on her sauce, really.
I think hers is a little more complicated than mine.
To the boiling water goes the pasta. I've also already seasoned it with some good sea salt. I don't cook it al dente because what happens if I don't cook it enough, then it sucks all the moisture out of the sauce and then you wind up with a dry mac and cheese. So in goes the nutmeg. Very little. Nutmeg is super powerful. One thing that we learned very early on as cooks is you can always add more. It's really hard to take out.
Your techniques are just so different because Katy has, you know, all these little mounds of shredded cheese and you're just putting in these big chunks. It's very different styles.
Katy comes from classic training.
Yeah.
I come from being trained by my mother and my brothers.
He's a fierce competitor because his flavors are so intriguing.
I'm excited because I get to eat both of them.
Just want to make sure I have my crust ready before I combine the pasta with the cauliflower and the cheeses. So
you didn't toast these pumpkin seeds ahead of time.
Right, because they're going to toast in the oven.
Got it.
I'm using 2 different kinds of dried chilies. One is an Aleppo, and this is a Maras Biber pepper, which I believe is from Morocco.
There's always chili. What does that do for mac and cheese?
I think it's really a flavor counterpoint. Chilies also have a good amount of acidity. So they are a bright spot so that your palate isn't getting jaded by the bombardment of fat. Chilies are also, they're really high in antioxidants.
We're just gonna make the salad. It's a very simple salad. You got your tomato tomatoes. This is your pickled green tomato. And then this is your bread and butter tomatoes. All of these have been diced up. So then you have your table grapes. And then I like a little spice in my life, sometimes. Add all of that.
This is very pretty.
And then you add a little olive oil.
And again, this is just fundamentally about finding a balance of flavors.
This is to break the monotony of how cheesy cheese is.
All mac and cheeses get finished in the oven. Now, why is that, guys?
The gratineing of cheese and the aromas that you get from that, there's nothing like it. It's that browning, caramelizing flavor.
And that's what gratiné is.
Yeah, that's what gratiné is.
Have a little butter in there for the sake of having butter, really. You layer it with the pasta, push it down a little bit. So when you go to your breadcrumb or your portobello mushroom breadcrumb, you can evenly spread it on. This layer is gonna go into the oven now. So then we're gonna get this crusty.
So this is the crust, but it's cooked. Everything's cooked. The cheese is melted. There's really not a lot of oven time. It's just to go in there and set everything and kind of get the aromas moving. They're going right in. And we'll close it up.
Oh my God. I've been missing the point this whole time. There's crust in the middle.
Yes.
That's the double crust.
The double crust.
Look at
and
this.
here, you don't want to press down too much.
I guess you're just a crust fiend or a texture fiend or something.
I am a crust fiend.
I hope our judges are crust fiends too.
Yeah.
Chefs, let's welcome the judges. Joining me today are Bill Telepan, chef owner of Telepan Restaurant in Manhattan, and Mike Colameco, the host of Mike Colameco's Real Food on PBS. Ratha, why don't we start with you?
So I'm doing today a double crusted mac and cheese. The crust is portobello mushroom and Thai eggplant. Two cheeses is Munster and Cabot, which is a sharp cheddar.
Ratha put a crust in the middle, and then he put another layer of crust on top.
Double crust here, though, definitely works great.
Yeah,
This is cool.
texture is fantastic.
Solid.
Katie,
My macaroni and cheese is a little more on the classical side. 5-cheese mac and cheese with cauliflower and a pumpkin seed and red chili crust. It's really more about using up whatever cheese ends you have. So the idea is to kind of orchestrate a sort of uber cheese, if you will.
Is that the chili that's giving that one, or is there an herb or something?
Yeah, there's something on the
just some chopped parsley in addition. You know, at home I might add thyme.
I think we have a lot to talk about. You both did really wonderful work, and we need to discuss and think who the winner could possibly be. That was interesting. What do you guys think?
You know, it's funny, mac and cheese is this iconic thing. This is comfort food, and we have our grandmother's version, and we have our own versions. And I mean, I thought that Ratha did a really interesting thing playing around with what he did. Eggplant and mushrooms and the double layer, double crusted mac and cheese.
Applebee's.
Right, exactly. It was but it worked, and it was really good. And the idea of the pickled, you know, the tomatoes and the jalapenos was a great foil against the cloying richness that mac and cheese can be. On the other hand, we get to Katy's, and I'm thinking, if I'm a customer to a restaurant and I order mac and cheese, that's kind of what I'm looking for.
I think I agree about Katy's. I mean, I think it was really a great classic, and I love the cauliflower and good trust. And there was a little spice to the chilies that brought a little sort of a palate cleanser in a way. But I found myself thinking I really would like to have Ratha's back. What the crust I think brings to it is sort of that sort of burnt cheese element to it that I like. The pickles were great because you could go to it. It's like having a little, having mac and cheese and salad. You know, it was
Play
really
them off
nice
each
to have
other.
it.
But I have to say, I wanted to keep eating Katy's.
Right.
I really loved, there is a funkiness from that cauliflower that to me tasted like, one of those wonderful, like bloomy French cheeses. And also I was a big fan of that pumpkin seed on top.
It's a tough call.
Chefs, you both made really thoughtful and delicious renditions of macaroni and cheese, but there has to be one winner.
Katy, I love the nuts, add the great texture, and the chilies brought a little something, but I just found myself wanting Ratha's again and again and again.
Ultimately, it was the cauliflower in your sauce, Katy, that just kept me wanting more, and who knew? I never would have thought that cauliflower would be my favorite component of a mac and cheese. We have one vote apiece.
Okay, yikes. Well, first of all, congratulations both of you. They're great, great, great dishes. Ratha, yours was really, really fun. I was saying that I could see if I was at a restaurant getting about halfway through it and then just dumping the pickle in, smashing it all up and eating it and thinking, this is something cool. And then we get to Katy's. It was more interesting than I would have made it. The cauliflower was great. The cheeses were great. I just thought if I'm a customer going out to eat mac and cheese, it's the kind of thing where if you had that on the menu, I'd go to your restaurant and eat that all winter long, repeatedly. So for that reason, I really loved Katy, so great job.
Katy, congratulations.
Well, thank you. I'm thrilled. That very stiff competition with Ratha is really good. So,
But you killed it, Katy.
Well, thank you.
You won.
I'm thrilled.